So the Pittsburgh Steelers just got some enticing news, and it always shows how serious a team is by who shows up to scout players. Whether it's Aaron Rodgers, I know, Mason Rudolph, or a quarterback that they end up drafting, the Steelers are serious about giving them what they need to succeed, and there's proof of that. During Ohio State's Pro Day, head coach Mike Tomlin, GM Omar Khan, they kept a watchful eye on standout wide receiver Emeka Egbuka during drills. And Tony Pauline of Sportskeeda also reported that Pittsburgh's brass held a meeting with Egbuka, a clear indication that there's interest on the Steelers' part and that it's serious. What's up, you guys? This is Sports Talk Steelers. I'm your host, Sean, and yes, guilty as charged. I'm a Bears guy with a Bears channel, but my love for Justin Fields brought me here to Pittsburgh, and my dislike of Aaron Rodgers might very well keep me here. Hit the subscribe button as I provide you an impartial view of your team here on the daily. It's been so much fun so far. So getting back to Pauline, he believes that the Steeler love for the Ohio State receiver is real. This is a straight quote. The Green Bay Packers and the LA Chargers were two teams spoken about in Columbus who will look at receivers hard in the first round. And despite their moves this offseason, so too will be the Steelers, as Egbuka had dinner with head coach Mike Tomlin and general manager Omar Khan on Tuesday night, the night before the Pro Day. So if you look at Egbuka, he's been heavily linked to the Steelers all offseason, especially before their blockbuster trade for Metcalf. I don't think that disqualifies them adding Metcalf. But he had a formal interview with the Pittsburgh Steelers brass at the NFL Scouting Combine as well. And that interest, it is still there about a month later. So this is legitimate. Kind of some measurables on this guy. You're looking at a 6'1", 205-pound wide receiver. And he's really viewed as one of the best playmakers in this year's draft. And this is after showcasing really reliable hands, just a 2.8% drop rate in 2024. That's so key. Then you're also looking at a guy that recorded a career-high 81 catches for 1,011 yards and 10 touchdowns as a senior. And that's, of course, during Ohio State's national championship winning season. So good to see a player in his senior year having a career year. So this is a player still ascending, still on the upswing. And it might be a really good spot for the Steelers to pull the trigger on him at 21 overall. So kind of looking lay of the land here. If the Steelers were to add Egbuka, their wide receiver room would be a bit crowded, right? But isn't that a good problem to have after having one of the most least talented wide receiving rooms in the whole NFL? And it also kind of gives some cushion. It gives Pittsburgh some flexibility on George Pickens. I mean, if the team wants to do that. We can talk about that a little more in just a moment. Let's look a little more on the book on Egbuka. He's the Buckeyes' all-time leading receiver in the categories of receptions and receiving yards. 205 receptions, 2,868 receiving yards. Now, to be the all-time leading receiver in that category for a team like the Ohio State Buckeyes, that is saying a lot because, man, they've had some studs. Even JSN that's starting to ball out for the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, that's significant. He also accomplished those figures despite sharing the field with some first-round picks. He shared the field with Marvin Harrison Jr. He went 4th overall last year. JSN, he went 20th in 2023. And then don't forget Chris Olave. He went 11th in 22. Man, and Garrett Wilson, he went 10th in 2022. So, man, Egbuka being on teams with these same receivers and continuing to shine and ending up the all-time leading receiver in these two major categories with all these other mouths to feed that he has been teammates with during his time for the Buckeyes, that is so significant. And this shows that Egbuka, he might be the best receiver out of all of them. I'm just laying that there. So kind of as Steelers fans, where are you at now? Let's say that Bears it's important to go through that. So let's kind of look at this. Even after trading for DK, drafting a round 1 wide receiver, I'm still saying it's on the table. Egbuka is projected to go somewhere between like the late teens and early 20s in the first round. Just that's the Steelers' sweet spot because you guys are at 21st overall. Now, I'm trying not to talk about him every video, but yes, there's still a courtship with Aaron Rodgers. It drives me crazy. It probably drives you crazy too. But if you're looking at still bringing Rodgers in, communicating to him that you're still willing to add to this wide receivers room, that might really push this wide receiver room to arguably the best in the league and almost like a can't say no proposition for anybody. But you've also got a looming contract situation with Pickens. No idea if that's going to happen, right? But there might even be a trade in tandem with drafting Egbuka. It's hard to say. Maybe Rodgers doesn't need a darkness retreat. I'm always going to be cynical with him. I'm sorry. Maybe he needs to see the best receiver room he's ever had. Crazy weapons, a great tight end, DK and GP, and add to the mix a first rounder like Egbuka. Man. Matthew Golden, maybe even Burden into that mix. I mean, you guys, this is exciting. And it could also be insurance, right? For when and if Pickens walks or gets traded. He's on the final year of his rookie contract. And if this is done, it can't be just to appease just a fickle Rodgers. Frankly, why not bolster this already good receiving room to actually great and almost like maybe might be the best in the league if you add this extra talent? So in short, I'm saying drafting a first-round wideout is definitely on the table for the Steelers, regardless of what Aaron Rodgers decides to do. And yes, I'm sick of talking about him too, but we've got to right now. So much work done on the offensive line last year. You've got guys like James Daniels leaving, but it never really got a chance to really gel. You guys had so many injuries on the offensive line, but you're looking at last year's rookie center and also Fatanu. They might be ready to mature in their sophomore years for the gold and black. And if all of these things, if you finally have health across the offensive line, you might actually have something special. Lots of draft capital invested last year. I think Frazier might be one of the better centers in the league once he comes into his own. You need a little bit more trench work on the defensive line. And that's kind of the rub, right? If you draft Egbuka, that could put a guy like Kenneth Grant, if he's there, out of the picture. There's a lot of talent on this defensive line, this draft. So some hard decisions have to be made. Egbuka looks absolutely elite at wide receiver, and you could add it to an already really good wide receiver room. And even if you're not preparing the way for Rodgers, you could make almost any quarterback salivate at the prospect of playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that could go a long way. Maybe just roll with Mason Rudolph this year. Maybe grab a guy like Milroe from Alabama to develop for a year. He's got some really nice intangibles. He could develop into a really good quarterback. A lot of you have even talked about trading for Milton and bringing him in. I'll do a story on that really soon. Just so many different pivots. You do not have to feel like you're held hostage by Aaron Rodgers. Let him walk along the beach and contemplate his future life. Looked like he was wrapped in like a velvet blanket. Look it up for yourself. So like ridiculous. It looked like a Bachelor episode. But you guys, it's been great growing this channel. It's even from a Bears guy, this has been so much fun covering this team, and you guys are really starting to grow on me. I will continue to give you impartial, kind of an outsider's view on Pittsburgh Steelers football, and appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.